Don't you ever wish to just sit in a studio, relax, and have best the time of your life? Just to do a podcast, running away from all the hustles and bustles of the world and keep it tight, not to lose your sanity, just to do the best thing you ever like in your life. Just to relax and have a chit chat with your mind and sink deeper into the spirit world, into the so-called unknown dimension. Don't you feel like it's something many people die for? But hey, either way, we don't live in a symbolic world, we just live in a literal world where many people just care about the literal things and the materialistic stuff, and none of them, or maybe a few, or maybe the few that I know. Remember, I've always told you that I don't know everything, but I know many things. I am a poet, I am a musician, and I'm a proser. But first, before everything, I was human, and I'm still human. So before becoming a poet, or before becoming a musician, or even a proser, I was human, and I understand the essence of stories. Back in the day, our parents used to tell us stories about where we come from as black people. I'm not being racist, but I'm just talking something that's relevant to me. They used to talk about the stories back in the day, like how we used to worship in Pan-Africanism and everything was just simpler. Up to date, I found those stories, to some extent, they have meanings. My grandfather used to tell us a lot of stories. Some of them were fictitious. Some of them I came to realize that with time they are real and they become realer. To some point, the stories have an essence in our lives. And it's one of the way of passing history down the ages, down the generations to come. So, to some extent, I do realize that stories have an essence, but not all the stories. So, the essence of as to why I told you of what I do is because I realize we have musicians and poets. These people do tell stories in their lyrics, with their lyricism, with their pen handling and stuff. They talk about the present, the past, and the future all in one, all in a bit, all in like 3 or 4 minutes. And some of them come out perfect, some of them just not perfect to what I think as perfect, imperfect, am I perfect, whatever. But in short, they all tell stories. But why? But not yet prosas. Why? Does our society only focus on these people? Well, maybe I'm not I need deeper into different societies so that I could get to realize their prosas. But until of late is when we discovered podcasting, and podcasters became a thing, and we start telling stories. But okay, I could say kudos to that because it just shows their process amidst us. As I finish this podcast, because I do realize that we'll have a series of this podcast with time, I just want to lay the foundation of stories left untold with this podcast and with this question, as I asked earlier. Do you think it's possible to finish a single story without digressing? If you ever get some time to answer that, I'd be most grateful. But if also you get some time and you, by chance, go online to peruse, I'd advise you to look for The Left Untold. It's a story by Vidya Parvada. She's an Indian author. The story is called Left Untold. And by Ishan Nag, it's called Imperfect Metamorphosis, or The Echoes of the Uncalm Mind. I think they mostly relate to what I'm talking right now, but just find some time and leave your story down the comments, or what you want us to discuss about the stories left untold, because I do realize everybody has a story. Apart from your life being a story, you have a story deep down in you that you've never finished and maybe you'd love to finish, I'd be most glad to help you finish the story. And if it's possible, God willing, I might take the initiative to bring you in the studio right here with me, right here at Just a Pod, and let's talk about that story and see if we can get to finish the story. If it's impossible to finish the story within the day, we can always have a series of the stories left untold, and let's talk about these stories and let them finish. I do realize as I finish that I've not finished this story, so let it be like stories left untold. It's just a podcast to the world. See you.